Starlink Report. The Starlink Report.
The Starlink Report, October 12th, 2020. I'm Hewie Poplock. Elon Musk says Starlink now has enough satellites in orbit to launch a public beta of its high-speed internet service. Elon Musk's goal of beaming high-speed internet to the remote parts of Earth using orbiting satellites just got a step closer to reality. SpaceX on Tuesday, October 6th, launched a batch of 60 Starlink satellites, bringing the total number in orbit to 770. Musk, SpaceX's CEO, said this was enough to start a public beta. Once these satellites reach their target position, we will be able to roll out a fairly wide public beta in northern US and hopefully southern Canada. Other countries to follow as soon as we receive regulatory approval, Musk tweeted after the launch. They might not be in place, however, until February. SpaceX is providing satellite internet service to towns hit by wildfires. As SpaceX prepares to begin beta trials for Starlink, the service is already being put to use for residents in 2 Washington state towns hit by wildfires. SpaceX provided 7 terminals for our agency to use for free where we saw the most need, the state's emergency management department said. The terminals are being used for free public Wi-Fi, but we also used them for incident command vehicles out of the Bonnie Lake, Washington wildfire, the department added. The Starlink satellite broadband network can currently deliver 100 megabits per second download speeds with a latency of around 30 milliseconds, which is on par with ground-based internet services. However, Starlink's main selling point is that SpaceX will theoretically be able to deliver fast broadband to anyone on Earth with a satellite dish outside of their home. As a result, customer interest in the upcoming broadband network has been high, especially among users based in rural areas or small towns who lack access to fast internet speeds. For now, the government is first targeting the northern US and southern Canada for the public beta, as they are generally orbiting around the Earth along the higher latitudes. The company plans to expand to lower latitudes, including areas over Texas, 3 months from now, as SpaceX sends more satellites into orbit. Average latency will improve as more satellites launch directly above you more frequently, and more ground stations are deployed. As we're able to put more ground stations on roofs of server centers, legacy internet latency will be 0. Now, research funded by the U.S. Army has concluded that the government mega constellation could have a secondary purpose, doubling as a low-cost, highly accurate, and almost unjammable alternate to GPS. Some researchers at the University of Texas at Austin claim to have devised a system that uses the same satellites, piggybacking on traditional GPS signals, to deliver location precision up to 10 times as good as GPS in a system much less prone to interference. SpaceX could more easily reach rural areas and begin to close the digital divide. A study from Broadband Now shows that in addition to working toward closing that gap, introducing a new internet provider could reduce the price of internet service by up to 40%. And this has been
The Starlink Report.